Come on, 7-0. Oh my God, that's unbelievable. That is. I genuinely can't get my head around that. Liverpool are just beating Man United 7-0. I'm astonished. I can't. I would. I'll tell you what. If you'd have said to me before the game, what are the chances of Liverpool beating Man United 7-0 today, I would have said 1 in a billion. I would have given myself more of a chance to become a billionaire tomorrow than I would of Liverpool beating Man United 7-0. But Liverpool were absolutely superb in this game. I can't believe that. I genuinely can't believe that. United, they weren't horrendous in the first half. They set up with the game plan, obviously, with a similar thing to what they did last week against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final, into play a reserve style of football and, just get forwards when they can and strike Newcastle when they're at their most positive points and they think they're doing well. That's when they get Rashford, Anthony and, Bruno Fernandes, Weghorst, all going forward. But in this game, oh my God, I can't believe that. 40th minute, it's 0-0, 92nd or whatever, 7-0. I'm absolutely astonished. I can't believe that. Cody Gakpo, the first goal, took it brilliantly. Now, I thought going into this game, I thought the one potential mistake Ten Hag made with his team was potentially in an away game at Anfield against Liverpool. I thought Wan-Bissaka might have been the better choice to Dalot. Not that Dalot's a bad player, I think he's been brilliant this year, but Wan-Bissaka's come into form recently. And I think he's the stronger player defensively. Dalot's better at getting forward, but I think in this game you want to keep Liverpool from scoring if you're United. And yeah, obviously the first goal, Dalot gets pulled out of position, and Fred, to be fair, he does cover him, but when you're a centre mid and a left-footed centre mid going to right back, you're never going to be able to cover him properly. So when the space was free for Cody Gakpo, he did really well to send Varane the wrong way and score a brilliant goal. And brilliant start to the game for Liverpool. What a moment for Cody Gakpo as well, after all of this talk about him being a flop, rejecting Man United, who have had a better season than Liverpool up until this point, to go to Liverpool. What a moment, and what a goal as well. And the second half, I was just thinking, right, this is where United are going to come out strong and they're going to attack Liverpool, and Liverpool are going to be put under pressure here. Will Liverpool's midfield be able to cope? Will the defence will that be able to cope with Rashford? Will it be able to cope? Will it be able to cope? Oh my God. Darwin Núñez makes it 2-0. I'm at that point, I'd have taken it. 90th minute, Jesus Christ, different story. Cody Gakpo's second for 3-0. Brilliant finish, brilliant counter-attack, brilliant by Salah in the build-up to it. And oh my God, we scored that many, I can't even remember all the goals. I've had 4 points, but I can't even... Oh my God, I can't remember it. This is brilliant. Salah getting the fourth, brilliant finish with his right foot, the volley in off the crossbar. And United, at that point, they'd given up. No one going towards the ball. And yeah, and at that point, Liverpool make the subs, bringing on Bajcetic, Milner. Our midfield at one point was Bajcetic, Milner and Elliott, 2 kids and a virgin pensioner. No offence to James Milner, I love him and he's still a decent player, but that's not a midfield that should be able to be beating Man United with Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes and Fred. Oh, I love it. I love it. This season, all the pain Liverpool have gone through this season, losing to Leeds, Nottingham Forest, who else we lost to? Wolves, Brighton. I can't even think of who else. All of the pain, all of the suffering. It's been worth it. 7-0. The 5-0 and the 4-0 last season were good enough, but Man United were poor last season. Man United, I think they got their lowest points total in a Premier League season ever. But no one saw this coming. I tell you what, if you ask people who's going to win who's more likely to win 7-0 today, they'd have said Man United over Liverpool. This is unbelievable. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh my God. It's unbelievable. Oh, Salah making it 6. Nunez made it 5 first, let's not forget that. Jordan Henderson crosses it in. No one goes down to close down Henderson. Everyone in the United team had given up. Bruno Fernandes was having paddies at this point. Nunez heads it in, makes it 5. Salah makes it 6. And to top it all off, Firmino and Jota off the bench. Firmino announces in the week that he's leaving. Do you know the only team that Firmino hadn't scored against for Liverpool in the top 6 at Anfield? He scored against Arsenal in January 2016. He scored against Tottenham in March 2019. He scored against Chelsea in July 2020. He scored against Man City in January 2018. He hadn't scored against Man United at Anfield, except in the Europa League in 2016, but in the Premier League he hadn't. Today, that's mission accomplished. Oh, this is the happiest I've ever been after a football match ever. I don't think anything's ever going to top this. 7-0. This is a result that will be remembered forever. What's the record Premier League win? It's 9-0. Liverpool v Man United. When was the last time that a team in the top 4 of the Premier League, United have had a good season this year, when was the last time that a team in 3rd position, still within an outside chance of winning the Premier League title, lost 7-0? The only time I can possibly think of that was close to this was United beating Newcastle 5-0 about 20 years ago. No, Newcastle beating United 5-0 about 20 years ago, sorry, the other way round. City beating Chelsea 6-0 a couple of years ago. I'm sure there's been others, but this is unbelievable. I'm genuinely, I can't, I'm to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that I've just like somehow collapsed and I wake up in the morning or something and in the end it was a 0-0 draw, or I can't believe it. This is unbelievable stuff. Ten Hag, I back Ten Hag in this situation, to be fair. I think he'll deal with this appropriately because United have been on a brilliant run of form, especially since Christmas. I think before the World Cup, United were doing well. They had obviously poor start to the season in the first couple of games against Brighton and Brentford. But since then, they've been still, it hadn't been fully convincing for United. They've been on a really good run of form, but there were still games like the 6-3 loss to Man City, like the 3-1 loss to Aston Villa. I think that might have been one of the last games before the break for the World Cup. There were still games where United weren't, you still thought they have some way to go before they reach the top again. But since Christmas, have they even lost any football matches since Christmas? Off the top of my head, I really can't think of any. I'm sure one will come to me in a sec. They lost against Arsenal, of course, at the Emirates. They beat Man City. They've been brilliant, and we've just beat them 7-0. It's not even the fact that it obviously beating Man United 7-0 at any time for Liverpool is going to be great, but it's the fact that they've been so good recently. And I don't know, this confidence in me all of a sudden, I just feel really, really confident. I know we're not going to go through in the Champions League quarter-final. Don't get me wrong, if we perform like we did today, it's not impossible. And you know what? There was times in the first half where United they did put the pressure on a bit. Alisson had to make a good save to deny Anthony. Rashford had a good opportunity. I think there was that sort of spell around the half an hour mark with Liverpool dominated the first half mostly, but there was that little spell in the first half where you felt as though, United, they this is what they're going to do, this is how they're going to score. Casemiro had a good opportunity from a header from a free kick, and it only takes United a couple of chances, because United still aren't at that point where they're a team who completely dominate matches. They're still very clinical when they do get forward, but mostly very good defensively. United this season, if they other than that Man City game at the start of the season, since we'll say since November or mid-October, have United conceded more than twice in a game? I think they did. Yeah, they did against Arsenal, but other than that, oh my God, 7. You wouldn't have stuck a quid on it if it was 500 to 1. This is unbelievable stuff. I had a bet on this game before, and I just thought it'll be a draw. I think both teams will score. I made an accumulator and stuck some things like how many corners there were. I put a quid on it, 600 to 1. I'm tempted to say that I'd rather today than the 600 quid. 7-0. It's unbelievable. I genuinely can't remember the last time I felt this happy after a football match. I'm sure I felt really happy after the 5-0 at the October last year, 2021, with the Mo Salah hat-trick, and that was brilliant. But this is another level, because United are a much better side. Ten Hag's got them playing football this year, but oh my God. Like, even you didn't even notice Casemiro. Casemiro for me has been the player of the year this year in the Premier League. I just think the difference he's made to Man United this year has been astounding, to be honest. And I genuinely haven't seen a player make that much difference to a football team in a long time. Even Lisandro Martinez has been amazing this season. Everyone doubted him at the start of the season, and we've just completely, made them look like trash. Salah turning Martinez inside out. Fernandes crying like a baby throughout the second half. I'm really sorry to any Man United fans watching this video. I try to keep neutral as often as I can, but at the end of the day, I am a Liverpool fan. I've got to celebrate these victories when they do come, because I doubt that anything like this. Man United are a ginormous football club, right? They've been on their worst run of form in the past. Well, worst run as a football club in the past 18 months before this season. Sorry, in the past 12, last season we'll say, and a few, maybe a bit under the Louis van Gaal and David Moyes era as well. That was their worst run in a football club for 30 years. But the problem was Liverpool throughout that period under David Moyes and Louis van Gaal. We had that great season in 2014, but we weren't that great. We never took advantage of it. We're never going to beat Man United 7-0 ever again. So I've got to make the most of this, because I don't think anything like this will ever. Because United will always be at the top of English football. Like they will. They're the biggest supported club. If the takeover goes through, they'll be probably close to the richest club. Maybe not quite Newcastle's level, but they're always going to be at the top, and they're most likely going to never get worse than they were 12 months ago ever again. I cannot see a 7-0 win for Liverpool ever happening again. I can't believe that. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. And I never enjoyed making a video as much as I have right now. And I'll see you next time.